There's several rappers sitting inside of jail waiting for their release date to come back to the free world, just like YNW Melly. Did you know Judge Fiend said Melly deserves to be released before trial begins? It was announced Melly's lawyer, Raven Liberty, filed a second motion for pretrial release following mistrial on Friday afternoon, March 28th. With the Broward County clerk, the 9-page document claims that given the excessive delays, misconduct, harsh jail conditions, and lack of proven guilt, Melly requests release with reasonable conditions to ensure his appearance at trial. But Melly's lawyers responded, the motion argues that Florida law allows pre-trial release in capital cases unless the state proves guilt is evident and the presumption of guilt is great, something it failed to do in the first trial. This is when the prosecutors gave reasons not to have Melly released from jail. A Rogo Block member snitched on Melly. He revealed Melly's motive to commit the crime was not wanting to share finances with the other YNW members.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walk the bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?
This was supposed to be a secret that Melly told King Von. Sadly, Von shared it with O-Block members before passing away. As YNW is a registered business, Melly and Börtlen performed concerts, sold merchandise, and did promotions for companies in exchange for money. However, Sack Chaser and Juvie wanted a cut of the money but did zero work for it. But if you know about King Von's past and how he handled situations, you can guess how Von would have told Melly to handle it. Pair this with evidence found on Melly's phone, and it gets bad. He sent a text message hours after the crime, admitting to it.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
But also found on Melly's phone was a saved video from someone's Facebook Live. It shows Melly and Börtlen's reaction to the crime only 6 hours after it was done.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turn, regardless of what happened. You already know.
Showing not an ounce of sadness for the passing of the two best friends. The lead prosecutor would then dive deep into the physical evidence of the crime, like the Jeep they were driving in. As during the original trial, Sergeant Williams revealed there was no way this could have been a drive-by.
How many rounds were inside of the car?
3. From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that Christopher Thomas, where did that come from?
Driver's side back seat.
Oh.
My determination was that this is not a drive-by, and it's based upon this picture here. The at a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the actually moving in that.
With Williams revealing the crime must have happened inside of the vehicle during the Melly trial, we then saw Juvie's mother go on the stand and share who was sitting there.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the kids in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
It was then Melly's lawyers' turn to prove why he should be released, telling the newly added Judge Fiend that in the original trial, there was never a firearm found.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
While also sharing GPS evidence from when the crime was going down that he was running away down the street.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some. I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
While the judge read the release evidence over, he would allow Melly's ex-girlfriend to be free. A viral tweet shared, Judge Fiend confirms Melly should be allowed a chance of a bond release till trial begins, stating he's been sitting in jail for several years without a conviction. It's just not right. As Melly's ex-girlfriend Mariah acknowledged her family and friends who supported her while detained on February 9th. The post reads, "And to my village, thank you. I love you all so much. God's plan, not mine." She allegedly didn't like how this was broadcasted on the local news.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
But did you know this worked out for Melly? It was reported. Melly has to make an informed decision about who he wants as lawyers. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days, leaving everyone, including Melly, surprised.
No, but let me repeat myself. Mr. Demons has to make an informed decision about who he wants his lawyers to be. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So, how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can, as I said, I'm just asking for a week. And then I'm asking for at least a day or two.
Can you decide by tomorrow? I've also reserved all of tomorrow.
The judge couldn't believe Melly's been sitting in jail for so long. He straight up said, "Give us your final reasoning why he shouldn't be free by tomorrow, or I'm releasing him on bond." This is when the prosecutors did the worst thing imaginable, forcing Börtlen to snitch against Melly, as the prosecutors are now sending in paperwork to have Börtlen and Melly tried together for one specific reason.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
It's common sense if Börtlen knows he didn't commit this serious crime. He won't be able to just take life in prison, making it likely he will point the finger against Melly. What you didn't know is that Melly's lawyer already tried pinning this against Börtlen in the first trial.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Revealing that it's always been Börtlen that has been telling lies to the feds. He's the one with the powder on his hand. And he was the one that was with Juvie and Sack Chaser when they passed. Even bringing up a forensic scientist that covered the passings, go into further detail on Börtlen having powder on his hands.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained two component particles, and the left hand contained one particle characteristic of residue and one 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was residue present on the hands.
Börtlen didn't like this at all. This is why when Melly's mistrial was granted, a report shared, Börtlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared. The tweet shares, "Mind games don't work on people like me," alongside a handshake emoji, as if he's accepting some sort of deal. However, this is only the start of Melly's recent problems. Did you know it was announced that Melly's mom trends after she started a fans account while he stands trial? She was then featured in an interview, speaking on why she did it and how much she's made.
Why did you decide to break the internet the other day? You're saying that you're YNW Melly's mom and you're about to hit fans.
Why not? You make money while you sleep, and you know, I turned 40 this year. Why not do something crazy?
Did you start it yet though?
What? My only? Yeah.
How much you made the first day? I just need to know the first day.
The first day was pretty epic. It was pretty epic.
Give me a ballpark figure.
Like 40-ish, 50.
One day?
Day one.
This took the internet by storm. Even DJ Academics had to say this.
So YNW Melly's mom has announced that she's gonna be starting the old. And I gotta be honest with y'all, man, like, this is perplexing. The reason why it's perplexing is because I can't understand why she's doing this. Your son is fighting for his life. How much, you know, there's certain mothers in hip hop, and you probably could name a few, I won't name all of them, that I feel like their son became stars, but they also wanted to be stars as well. Blueface's mom is one of them. The situation between Melly's mom and Melly, I always thought was interesting, but I never thought she'd be doing this. If you're wondering if she's doing this for money, this can't be a money play. Like, no way, no how.
While DJ Academics claims it's not about money, social media would disagree, as a No Jumper interview from 2 years ago with Adam, B Slime, and Jamie King would show Adam telling Melly's mother he imagines Melly has spent a lot of money on lawyers. She sits back laughing, but B Slime calls out Melly's dumb purchases.
I would assume
but it's still,
that he spent a lot of money on lawyers. Like an amount that would probably...
That kid spent a lot of money on a lot of things that shouldn't have been spent on.
Really? Like what else?
And cars, jewelry. And he's not even out to wear the jewelry. I'm like, why are you buying jewelry? You're not here to wear the jewelry.
No, definitely lawyers are probably the best thing you can spend.
That's
money
what
on.
bro. But he's good with lawyers, bro. Like, money ain't an issue for lawyers. Like, he's fine, but it's just like, it was a lot of stuff that should have went to lawyers that he didn't spend on lawyers. And I'm like, bro. And now it's like, he don't even want to chain no more.
It's important to note what Jamie King's been going through, while starting a fans account could also be an outlet for her to get her mind off Melly's trial. We all saw during the original trial that Melly had to ask if she was okay several times.
Sorry.
But did you know Melly's financial issues are going to get worse? They found disturbing evidence in Mariah's iCloud account relating to Melly forcing her not to testify in the trial, which is known as witness tampering. This carries a life sentence in prison regardless of whether Melly took out Sack Chaser and Juvie.
Filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering case would be separate from his existing case of Sack Chaser and Juvie's passing, which means more lawyer fees. However, the feds begin their investigation on Mariah after people in Melly's hometown began speaking a lot about Mariah's involvement in this crime. This resulted in Juvie's father starting to do his own investigating. He asked around town, speaking with people from all areas. He learned the code words that Melly used against Mariah to make her not testify against him in trial.
There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom. And
if found guilty, Melly will be sentenced to life inside a prison for the witness tampering charges alone. Due to his witness tampering with the jail phones, Melly hasn't been allowed to use a phone for several months. It got so bad that his mother, Jamie King, even did an interview, exposing the county jail for not allowing Melly to use a phone or even look at his mail.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if the evidence is true that Melly's been using the jail phones to commit witness tampering, that's why they've not allowed him. They must have evidence stored away until the trial starts, because they wouldn't keep him off if it was just a hunch. Due to this, Jamie King would reveal that she feels heartbroken for her son. She feels helpless, as he's not even being treated as a human in jail.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
This, however, got a lot of media attention, especially from industry people. As Charleston White reacted to this sharing, this is what Melly should be living like. He shouldn't get special treatment.
The YNW Melly, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing, about being mistreated, when you done chose to play somebody.
This would get the attention of Boozy, who would speak on the stress Jamie King's been going through.
Okay, so
then I met his mama while he was in.
Oh, okay.
I met his mom while he was in, and she real, bro. You know, she real.
She's stressed out. I heard she had a...
Yeah, she real, and I reached my hand out to him, cause I'm real. Yeah, I reached out to him, bro. I met his mom, and she a good woman, bro. And when I see them mamas like that, it remind me of what my mom was going through, bro.
However, the next rapper to be released is Lil Durk. Did you know Lil Durk's team dropped a video of Durk before he was arrested, as it hints towards his release date? It reads, Durk says it's better to be low-key with your money. If you can't afford 10 Maybachs, don't buy one.
We already came with a plan to be like feature run, album time. We're gonna do that prayer, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do everything in the way that it's gonna be big. I ain't looking at nothing small no more. I'll wear this 5 days straight, what you gonna pay? Durk broke. I sell all this shit. I have one car. It's not that I can't get it, it's I don't give a f. I'm not thinking backwards. If you can't buy 10 Maybachs, don't buy it.
With a viral comment sharing, anyone else feel like Durk's team releasing his best motivational moments, softer moments, and overall nice times is a way to package it to show the judge that Durk's influence was always good, as he would end up being correct. As academics tweeted, "We praying for Durk. By the way, he sent me word he will have the album of the year," which led to an OTF insider saying, "Durk album shortly." But something bigger is happening behind the scenes. However, all I can say is free Durk, which got Kanye so excited that he called Durk in jail.
Yeah, man, how you feeling?
And I'm feeling good, just taking a day at a time, just chilling and staying focused for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the time we
from the federal prison.
I love the time we spent in Saudi, man. That was great.
Hey, look, that's all I'm talking about here. The people here, they get their time, and they ain't never experienced the world. So I be telling them stories, and they be on 20.
Wow. Yeah, man. I just got off the phone with Puff. I talked to him for the first time 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes before you called me, yeah.
But days later, something scary happened to Durk. It reads, reports reveal Durk was attacked in his cell block earlier this morning at the LA County Jail. Conditions of the rapper's health isn't public. However, a change of jails is likely. As rumors began spreading until fans noticed something strange. People saw both Quando Rondo and Tim doing interviews. They both said the same message and released them on the same day. Many people believed it was a coincidence, but others believe Quando and Tim are behind Durk's issues in jail. As Tim said in his interview,
I was just protecting my little brother.
When you did finally find out that it was King Von who did it, how'd you feel?
I was like, damn, if Brian did that stupid shit last night, he still would have been alive. That's how I was. But I was like, shit, I ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespect to like his mama saying him shit like that, because I could easily get on get on that type of stuff and be clout chasing type. Like, I ain't on that type. I'm a humble person, but it's like, they ain't never popped that shit off. That would have never happened like that.
Which led to Quando Rondo saying the same thing, saying he wishes it was handled in a different way.
Whoever on my side, they got kids and a mama that 100% love them. And at the end of the day, bro, all this bull that we talking about is stupid. That could have been handled a totally different way. It could have been handled to the point where a song and $3-4 million could have came out. Or whatever, like that could have got handled in a legit way, in a music way.
But here's where it gets weirder. Did you know there's an entire section in Durk's case about his lyrics? With the lyrics in question being, "Look on the news and see your son, you screaming no no," which the feds believe relates to Quando screaming no at Pab's crime scene.
This man, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight.
But Durk's lawyers claim he has an alibi for it, with it announced in a move out of the YSL trial playbook. Durk's producer says the Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy song with Babyface Ray, which prosecutors say bragged about the passing, was actually recorded 7 months before the incident, as they revealed this court document which shows Durk recorded those lyrics many months before Pab passed away, making it one big coincidence that Durk rapped the exact way Quando reacted to his passing. But the feds have started lining up evidence on Durk, with it reported the feds have over 230 gigs of evidence, including audio and video recordings alongside 20,000 pages of reports, with majority of it coming from OTF Jam, as he's the main snitch in the case. From those files, they determined he could be involved in another M for hire, reporting, the feds believe Durk paid to get these two people dealt with. The first is Stefan Mack, who got Durk's brother D-Thang, but the second is OTF Jam's baby mom, who passed after Durk found out Jam wore a wire around him. Feds believe Jam is the key to putting Durk in jail for all 3 crimes. As in this Instagram live, people believe Jam was wearing the wire, because he's constantly messing with his jacket and talking into it.
Oh, again. I ain't gonna lie, like my whole dream change. I ain't gonna lie, feeling like back in the day. Oh my! Oh dang! Like back in the day. Look, he took out. Give me the check on your man. I heard you got his head. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. Hey, when I was growing up, I used to have a dare. Architect. I'm having a dare. School's out of town. All that whooping on the net, it got your man. Metro!
They even showed the judge this Instagram story where Durk wrote for D-Thang, which was posted 30 minutes after Stefan Mack passed away. They even have this Instagram live from the following day where Durk's laughing.
You can't see other shit. What? Tweak on the folks. Hey, somebody always said it's a live car. Somebody always said it's live car.
But this came as a huge betrayal to Durk because he recently gave Jam 50 bands as a gift.
You know what's name, bro? Steady crying, huh? He steady crying. Feed him. Feed him. Get him up, bro. Get him up so big mama get the trigger, bro.
See that?
Feed
for my
him.
baby. That's really how y'all hold y'all babies, ain't it? I gotta hold my money like this. This too much. Crazy though. Motherfuckers sitting up there doing all this. Sneak this and internet games and all this. Up some money, do something. Like, we winning, bro. I can do it. Whatever it is I want to do, I can do it. Not what I want to do what I want. Y'all can't do that, bro. Goof,
bro got out what?
You know that
how many you did all?
How many years I did it now?
Yeah. That's your last bit. 12?
12.
That boy popped out 12 years.
Yeah.
So much money. We really just get in order to just figure out the lanes, man, boy.
However, months before being arrested, Durk knew Jam was acting strange. It was announced, Durk has been playing 3D chess this entire time. He knew OTF Jam was gonna cooperate.
I see shit from a mile away.
I don't think people realize that.
I could have a conversation with you for 5 seconds and know your is gonna cooperate.
To which Durk further talked about this and said he stopped letting anyone go to his house. He wanted no information getting out about him.
Nobody is ever allowed to my house. It be my best friend never been to my house.
For real?
I promise.
Your best friend?
I promise. Like, it's people like that I just don't allow around my girl and my kids. Cause it's like, I'm just a different type. I'm not the. We're gonna have family night at Durk house tonight. It's the.
Everybody at Durk's crib.
Yeah, we gotta everybody getting watched. We gotta watch everybody. hey, you go too, they go too close to them kids. You know what to do. Like, that's how I play. Like, I don't play.
Unfortunately, Jam went through with snitching on Durk, but once Durk got confirmation that it was him, he sent his goons after him. The report reads, OTF Jam found by OTF members hiding in a crib outside Atlanta. Sources claim Jam was dealt a punishment for snitching on Durk, which came with a photo of the scene where Jam had been staying. But to add more problems for Durk, the prosecutors are still using his lyrics against him, as they shared this one in court files with Durk rapping, "Told me they got an addy, they got the location, go," as they connected it to Brick Baby, saying he would have dropped Quando Rondo's location if Durk had asked.
Why is that? Then it's people like, you lined up somebody from your hood. Like, listen, I didn't. But at the end of the day, what's wrong with giving my friend the address? Oh, this my boy. He lost his boy. Who did it could be around. 9 times out of 10, had he had asked me, I probably would have been if he even asked anybody, if this is even true. But 9 times out of 10, like I said, can I leak a bar?
Sure.
I said, if he make the call right now, I'd up it.
Right.
Brick Baby agreed to not snitch on Durk, but later on he got risky. Because in an old interview of himself that he reacted to, Brick Baby says, you can't say Durk never slid for King Von anymore because they got Pab. With Brick Baby saying this, it's likely he drew federal attention to Durk's name.
But was this an attempted hit or
Well, they can't say that no more.
Then they put you as
Why?
God.
Like, who died?
You can't say that no more.
Oh, because of FBG Cash? Oh, who?
federal charges in California?
Nah, because Lil Pab.
So this is about the...
Oh! What's that?
But I'm just saying, they just say you can't say that no more.
With the feds knowing to look into Durk, they investigated him, with some of the first evidence being this footage which links the suspects that took out Lil Pab to King Von, making it clear there's a connection between the suspects and OTF.
Solitary stone.
We just looked at him.
Let's go over there.
What up, bro?
Boss, you good? My boy. Let's go.
They got real in here, man, because he just stepped in. The money man just stepped in.
This made it clear the suspects wanted revenge for Von, making it the perfect scheme for Durk to pull it off. This is when we heard academics lay out the roadmap of Durk's crimes the last few years.
2020 Von, 2021 his brother dies. 2022, the niggas who his brother, they get clapped. The two Von, at least a cousin of theirs get clapped. 2023, he drops an album, I'm almost healed. You ever think about that, Chad? It's like poetic. 2020, Von dies. 2021, his brother dies. 2022, get back for both those situations. 2023, I'm almost healed. Crazy, huh?
But with this coming out, people in OTF thought Durk was done for, and rumors circulated other members than just Jam were snitching. However, OTF Bezu took a moment to calm everyone down.
No motherfucker know what's going on, but them people that's in them courtrooms, man. For real, for real. Them be false accusations. Y'all don't even know what the be going on, for real. Y'all really be trying to play Inspector Gadget and all this. Y'all just be weird as hell. That's what I be talking about, man. Like, first y'all done threw the Jams rumors out there. Now y'all talking about Vonnie a snitch, gang. A snitch on what? Y'all don't even really know what's going on, for real. My kids, y'all really just be running. And that's why I don't participate in nothing that got to do with nothing illegal. Because of you motherfuckers, y'all be trying to get them all put under the jails.
Durk caught wind of what people were thinking on the outside also. So Durk took matters into his own hands, jumping on a phone call to say there's no one taking protective custody.
This call was from a federal prison. Say what, bro?
I said, I know you're but if you need anything, you know I got you.
You know, I appreciate it. You know, it's all that count,
yeah. Yeah, I know how that be, but it don't matter, bro. We ain't never moved our money. Except for that first time. Once it was that, it was that. Once it was like then, it was everything was his.
Yeah. You know, I feel got these same. I can't help it like shit. Where you from? What you got going? I'm into it, yeah.
Man, what? The PC. Hey.
I thought they thought a computer, you downstairs, they be like, man, you know you, man, send me upstairs. Whatever it is, I got to tap to you. Nah, for sure. Can't go no more PC and come out acting all crazy.
Despite all this concerning information on Durk, a lawyer revealed his thoughts on the case, where he surprisingly believes Durk could come home.
So it all depends on the hunger of the U.S. attorney and the AUSA that's involved.
And if they want this individual badly enough, they'll make very attractive deals for these individuals. What does a very attractive deal look like? I think they go for the lowest hanging fruit. Whoever, didn't actually kill the guy, maybe someone that was involved that didn't actually, or someone that, but it didn't hit, they're going to have forensics. Yeah. So they'll take whoever is the least culpable, and I think that they'll approach him and make a deal with him that'll be the most attractive. And if that guy doesn't make a deal, they'll move on to the next guy. So usually that's what happens, right? You go for the lowest hanging fruit first, the guy that you think will flip, the guy that didn't really have that much involvement. And I think what also is interesting with the indictment is it wasn't just money. They're like, oh, it could have been money or it could have been career advancement.
As his official statement says, I'm hesitant to say they have a slam dunk case on Durk Banks. I think they have a long way to go to prove the conspiracy against him.
When it comes to Durk Banks, so far I've seen one text that says, don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking. Certainly that's not a good text, but is that the only text? Because that doesn't, that in itself doesn't stand on its own. Certainly it's circumstantial. But like I said, we have to wait and see what other evidence they have. If they have a snitch, if they have videotapes or audio tapes of him saying something, I think that's a lot different than, hey, just make sure you don't associate my name with these guys. So I'm hesitant to say that they have, a slam dunk case on Durk Banks.
Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy was released from jail, but insiders believe he will be placed back into jail. Did you know rappers are claiming NBA YoungBoy snitched out of prison early? It was announced. Looks like YoungBoy has been released from federal prison and either transferred to a halfway house or is headed home. I'll confirm soon. It was later confirmed he's now home, because once he got home, he jumped on a FaceTime call with Aiden Ross. Academics also released information on his release and limitations by stating, talk to YoungBoy's manager. YoungBoy is home spending time with his family. He has a curfew for 30 days and has to stay at certain locations. Have some patience, a tour is locked in. YoungBoy fans get ready. 2025 is YoungBoy's year. However, some rappers are skeptical on how he was released so early. No Jumper announced, Famous Richard says YoungBoy is working with the feds. An Instagram post also reads, YoungBoy is telling. This is his third time getting released from the feds within 4 years on all new charges. On King David, you can't do 10 months of a 23-month sentence. My first offer was 5 years for a firearm that the police put on me. YoungBoy's definitely with the police. He's probably the reason Smirk locked up. But what's interesting is fans caught this video of YoungBoy walking around in prison before he was released. It is. But attached to the video is another tweet reading, honestly, I kind of believe it too. The timing, the energy, the way things are playing out, it's all looking a little too convenient. Wouldn't be the first time someone played both sides. In this game, you never really know who's working with who. Gotta watch everything. So to understand if he snitched or not, it's important to rewatch the moments YoungBoy was released. When he got to court for his sentence, a YoungBoy fan somehow hacked into the court's Zoom call and yelled out, "Free YoungBoy."
Little free YB, man. Free YB.
Everyone needs to stay muted. Okay.
Free YB.
All right. Mr. Golden's case has already been called. He's done with court today. For those of you interested, everyone keep yourselves muted.
Free YB. Free YB. Free YB.
YoungBoy entered the courtroom with a smile on his face, likely because he saw the support of his fans just minutes before. However, YoungBoy did an interesting thing as he entered the courtroom. He signed a legal document that certifies he understands English but only has education of the 8th grade level. But did you know there's a chance YoungBoy returns to jail? Because his court files reveal that on March 10th, 2021, YoungBoy was arrested and charged with a count of firearm possession by a convicted felon and possession of an unregistered firearm. As YoungBoy was outside recording a music video with many friends who were playing loud music, dancing and waving around firearms in the air. A lady down the street realized this, got worried and dialed 911. When the cops arrived on scene, they recognized YoungBoy and detained him.
So yesterday at court, the body cam footage of the officer who put the cuffs on YoungBoy back in September during that music video, the cop comes right up to him, whatever, he puts the cuffs on him, and then YoungBoy's reaction is kind of hilarious. I thought it might be interesting for y'all. He was like, yo, big dog, man, what you doing, man? Why you putting these cuffs on me? That's who he was calling the cop. He was calling the cop big dog. He's like, big dog, you up right now. I didn't do nothing. You could search me. I got nothing on me. Cop doesn't listen. Cop puts him in the, and the whole time YoungBoy's like, yo, man, what you doing, man? Big dog white. And it really goes to show you a lot about this case. YoungBoy didn't think he did anything wrong. He didn't think that they were going to go and start taking footage from music videos and said, you held a gun in a music video and you're a felon and that's a federal felony and you're going to face 3 to 5 years. No, and it really shows you that these federal laws, as applied to kids like NBA YoungBoy from the hood, are extremely unfair and extremely punitive, and we need to take a good long look on what's going on there.
With YoungBoy in handcuffs, his videographer tried deleting all the evidence of YoungBoy holding a firearm. Unfortunately, the police were too quick and confiscated it, resulting in the feds having clear video of YoungBoy holding the firearm. His lawyers tried to argue the police took the camera illegally, but it didn't hold up in court and allowed for the evidence to be used against him, which had the rap lawyer saying,
Update on NBA YoungBoy. He lost the appeal with the federal appeals court. He can take it up to the Supreme Court. What happened? So the federal judge, the lower court, ruled in his favor. She said that the video of him holding what looks like to be a is suppressed. It can't be used at trial against him. The way you guys obtained it, you violated his constitutional rights. Now, the government went to the Fifth Circuit United States Court of Appeals. The Fifth Circuit said, you know what, we have a different decision, and we're going to say that the government can use that evidence. It is going to be allowed in the case.
Realizing it wasn't going in YoungBoy's favor, his lawyers knew he needed a plea deal. And of course, after some time in court, one came around. But in a heartfelt moment before signing off on the plea deal, it was reported the judge gave YoungBoy a positive message about him being robbed of his talent and potential due to his addiction, and wished him the best of luck after he's out of prison.
Mr. Golden, I've seen so many times that good men and women who have a lot of talent and potential, that they can be robbed of that potential when they start to really struggle with their addiction. So I don't want that for you. You seem like a very talented young man. I'm hoping in your future that once you're done with your federal prison time, that you can be really successful on federal probation and have a really bright future where you can reach your full potential in every aspect of your life. Best of luck to you, Mr. Golden.
Thank you.
Anything
Thank you, Your
further?
Honor. That's all I have, if I
Okay.
could excuse.
You may.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you all.
With YoungBoy receiving 23 months behind bars for his crimes, it looked like he wouldn't be heard from for a long time. But luckily for him, his lawyer did incredible work, because he wrote in a text message, I wrapped up YoungBoy's case. He got 23 months, but because of the way we worked it with credit on another case, he should be out in 3 or 4 months. However, with YoungBoy having served a couple months behind bars and overpopulated jails being an issue, they decided to let him out early. Back on March 3rd, Rich the Kid in academics knew he was about to be released.
Drake YB Durk, right now. And I ain't gonna lie to you, because I was even looking at my Spotify like recap. Yo, I think hip hop is due, like, YB has to stay out of jail. Yo, we're thirsty for his. There's a
Get out in March, right?
yeah, it's more music with him.
Wait on it. Wait on it.
However, YoungBoy won't be released for long because another YoungBoy case is pending. He was wanted for skipping a court appearance, which led to more charges. It was so serious the FBI got involved and staked out his Louisiana mansion. Once YoungBoy got in his car and drove out, they began tailing him. Following him all the way to the highway, the FBI tried pulling him over. Initially, YoungBoy complied and pulled over. However, once the agent stopped his car and got out, YoungBoy put it back in drive and floored it down the highway. With him running into traffic, he went off onto the regular streets, and after creating a gap between him and law enforcement, he took the chase on foot, which was a terrible decision for him because he was wearing skinny jeans, designer shoes, a big jacket, and diamond chains. With this situation being completely insane for a music artist to do, what's crazier is that he was caught running through a fan's backyard because the fan took photos of him just in front of a federal agent. However, it wasn't long until he was caught, considering he had 10 police cruisers, helicopters, and canine units tracking him.
Do you want to talk to us? Tell us what happened, as soon as we're done with everything, we'll take off the handcuffs, okay? But
yeah, I don't have a statement. I don't want to be detained in these handcuffs like this improperly if I haven't committed a crime or done nothing.
Okay. All right. Give us a second, okay?
Okay. No voluntary statement.
Hey, he's not willing to give a
So,
statement.
Any statement, any voluntary statement?
No, sir. Mr. Martinez, I don't want to give a statement. I don't want to be in this.
These were serious charges against YoungBoy. From speed racing, resisting arrest, and many more, the judge didn't take easy on him. But having millions of dollars and the best lawyers got him a bond for the crimes.
For YoungBoy out of California is a $540,000 bond. He put up $500,000 in cash. In addition, he put up as collateral 2 properties worth in excess of $1.5 million, and he has to wear an ankle monitor. However, he's not going to be on house arrest. The court according to the bond set by the California judge, he simply has to wear the ankle monitor but is otherwise free to travel. Given that the California judge found that these circumstances are sufficient for a YoungBoy, why would a Louisiana judge find any differently? The Louisiana judge is looking at the same facts, he's looking at the same charges, and he's making a decision under the exact same federal law. Sure, it's a different court and a different circuit, and the way the laws are applied varies somewhat. It shouldn't vary a lot. If this California judge said, hey, this much money and these restrictions are good, it would be very, very weird for a Louisiana judge to say, oh no, no amount of money and no restrictions. That would be very uncommon.
But with YoungBoy having an extensive criminal history, it's interesting how he got only 23 months in his firearms case, which realistically ended up only being a few months. YoungBoy needs to take advantage of this and keep the crime out of his life. However, it's unlikely he'll do that. Earlier in his career, he was all about the music and was cool with everyone. However, now he goes out of his way to create beef with people and constantly self-snitches on himself in lyrics. Because an example of YoungBoy's rage and anger towards other artists is Jada Youngin. Back when they barely knew each other, Jay praised YoungBoy's musical talents by saying,
"Me and YoungBoy, soon we will be making music together. I'm a fan of YoungBoy music. Yeah, we gonna collaborate pretty soon and put on for our state, because when we do, I feel like this is gonna be one of the hardest collaborations ever."
They later dropped a collab song with each other titled Up With Me, but they had a falling out after Jay accidentally shared an unreleased YoungBoy song on Instagram. YoungBoy hated this and commented, "Delete this now. I don't know how you even got my song. I don't mess around like that." Although Jay defended himself and said he wouldn't take disrespect.
"I'm a real and I stand on everything, you hear me? Ain't no gonna play with me, ain't gonna disrespect me."
He went after YoungBoy again as he rapped. "You put that comment on my post, they laughed about that, but I was laughing when your baby mama was on me." As photos leaked of Jay hanging with YoungBoy's baby mama. In return, YoungBoy tried to catch Jay lacking in the streets as he recorded this video, which has some people wondering if YoungBoy was behind the hit that resulted in Jay's passing.
"You be hiding. We real headhunters, man. Come on, man. Open their mouth, came to what they was, man. Oh."
Another example of making rappers annoyed is how Choppa supported YoungBoy back in the day by dropping a song titled Free YoungBoy when he was in lockup. However, once he started dissing King Von after his passing, he didn't like it, because YoungBoy dropped the song Bring the Hook in 2022. It had him dissing King Von repeatedly and had the rap scene reacting, "YoungBoy on demon time right now," and he dropping another whole tape. Rapper Lil Reese responded back, "That ain't no demon time. He just rapping like the rest of these rappers all rap." And just for Choppa agreeing with Reese by saying, "I stamped that," YoungBoy lost his mind. YoungBoy dissed Choppa not long after with the lyrics, "I bet your mama be destroyed when we send you to God for making statements. Choosing sides about my beef with them boys. I could say I saw it, you could say I was your favorite." Simply because Choppa didn't like YoungBoy dissing someone who couldn't defend themselves, YoungBoy sent that warning out to him. But we heard more from Choppa on this interview.
He's not able to defend his name, bro, and it be a lot going on within his name about him. When, to me, bro, he a real stand-up dude, and it was just unfortunate how it happened. Like, he came to a person as a man.
He even released this statement on YoungBoy. YoungBoy needs to be more careful. He's got a lot of people looking up to him, and he needs to set a better example. Stay out of trouble and focus on his music, which resulted in this final interview talking about YoungBoy.
When you heard that, what'd you think?
It was funny to me. I feel like, it's not serious when it hit the net. It's funny. I mean, it's just entertainment to me.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. Good song. Nice bars.
However, K-Flock's trial just ended. Did you know K-Flock was found not guilty in the passing of Oscar Hernandez? This resulted in his next possible release date being announced. It was shared, K-Flock found not guilty of M charges, but guilty of 5 other charges, including possession and RICO. But with creative lawyer work, Flock's lawyer mentioned that the 5 guilty charges do not faze him. The passing of Hernandez's charge was the main concerning charge. With Flock beating that charge, it will reflect on his release date. With it reported, the prosecutors have put in a letter sharing. It could be misunderstood to mean the jury must determine whether the defendant, with his idiosyncrasies, believed the victim was about to use physical force, which is good news for Flock, as it suggests the jury considered his personal perspective instead of just a general reasonable person standard, because the way that Flock grew up, he was more inclined to feel fear in the moment with Oscar. This is how his self-defense claim worked on the M charge, which resulted with this positive call from Flock in jail.
Talk to them, Flock. Talk to them, my dog. Soon come home, man. You got these little boys walking around with no jewels, Flock. They need you. They need you, Flock.
This even resulted in Lil TJ saying, "Free K Flock," while leaving Bobby saying this before trial.
What's it like for you watching the K Flock thing happen? That's crazy. Next big artist coming out of New York.
I love Flock, so I like that. That's my guy.
Okay.
But you know, I'm wishing him the best right now. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for the alleged charges they pushing on him, you know what I'm saying? I'm wishing his family the best. I'm wishing the whole team the best and everything. You know what I'm saying? And I hope he beat them alleged charges. You know what I'm saying? Because he got a lot of future brightness. He got, and I hope, you know what I'm saying?
That would be a sad story if that's the end of it.
No, we ain't gonna think like that, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta stay positive.
But the charges he's found guilty on are because his gang members snitched on him. It was announced that K Flock reportedly used a firearm against someone who used one against his friend in 2020. Today, that friend testified against him. The snitch's name is Brockington, otherwise known as Dougie on the streets, but not to be confused with Flock's best friend Dougie B, because Dougie, who got arrested for selling, threw K Flock under the rug, and his snitching affects his release date, because he basically got Flock guilty on the 5 other charges he faced. But to see his release date, you need to read the case file, because prosecutors asked Dougie in court, after you got hit, who called you in the hospital? Dougie answered, K Flock called. He said, you know we got you, bro. He follows it up by saying he was gonna retaliate against whoever hit me. The prosecutors asked him to flat out admit it by asking, Flock hit them up in retaliation for you? Dougie said yes, and that someone got grazed during the altercation. Most importantly, they asked if Flock was seen with a firearm, which is one of the charges he was found guilty on. Dougie admits Flock had one on him and that he was on call with rival team members who circled their block, which lines up with the passing of Oscar Hernandez, with Flock's best friend B Love saying,
okay, but so I saw some fans who were off at both me and academics after K Flock got locked up because, well, just because I guess, like, you know, in our tone when we talked about it, you know, it might have seemed like we were being a little too presumptuous. But is that weird for you? Because I'm sure you see people all the way from rappers to whoever acting like, you know, your boy is just done and he's cooked in this situation.
I ain't gonna lie, people, especially people that don't even be knowing, like, y'all don't even know what's going on, bro.
Yeah. He said this because the court files explained how the murder happened. As on December 23rd, 2021, K Flock was charged with the passing of Oscar Hernandez. He's seen walking down the sidewalk with his sister. Flock's wearing a blue coat, shiesty mask, and designer jeans. Flock walks past a barbershop, and Oscar Hernandez notices him from inside. Oscar runs out to yell at Flock, saying, what are you looking at? With them having a street history with each other, they start yelling back and forth. But as Flock decides to leave it and continue on his way, Oscar follows him. For a split second, you can see Oscar thinking to leave Flock alone and walk back to the shop, but instead he continued to escalate the situation. Oscar is seen grabbing inside his jacket pockets. Once Flock noticed this, he turned around, whipped out his firearm, and used it against Oscar. Hitting Oscar multiple times, he fell to the ground and Flock fled the scene. Trying to save his life, witnesses dialed 911 and he'd be transferred to a local hospital. Unfortunately, he did not survive his injuries. All that was left at the scene for evidence were shell casings and Oscar's slides that he was wearing. The case was a mystery for 24 hours. The NYPD had no lead on who the masked man was other than seeing him in the security footage. So they reached out to the public for information and posted this photo of Flock from the footage. Unfortunately for Flock, he had posted this jacket before, and hours before the crime, he was seen on live with the same jacket and mask on. He was quickly ratted out to the authorities. With a warrant out for his arrest, Flock hired one of the best lawyers in the game and walked into the police station with him. His lawyer released a statement saying, I accompanied Kevin as he self-surrendered to detectives in the 30th precinct. Arrangements were immediately made with the NYPD once I learned he was wanted. As to the charges against him, we have begun our investigation into these allegations. We will address bail once we have had a chance to review the case and further investigate the DA's noteworthy disclosure. Immediately, his lawyer gathered all evidence from the crime that he could and began the self-defense argument.
When the guy hits the ground and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. You know, we consider that to be self-defense.
So he did take him in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. You know, I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case, but the government claims that he pulled the, but at the same time, the person that was on the ground had his hand on a loaded, illegal loaded.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense.
That could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, you know, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear is going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want to?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull the
But the Fed statement believes it's all because of rival street teams beefing with each other, as Flock has a long affiliation with a third side street team. With Flock having publicity, he had a lot of control in the game and was often the one retaliated against by his ops. However, Flock's situation got much worse once they announced K Flock was indicted by a federal grand jury for multiple new racketeering conspiracy charges, also known as RICO charges. Hip-hop creators reacted to the news saying, K Flock just caught a RICO, it's really over. Academics also said, Feds just unsealed an indictment on K Flock for a RICO charge. The mandatory minimum if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life in prison. He still is facing state charges that have him locked up. Flock's lawyers reacted to the RICO charge saying, we're not surprised by the federal charges as we've been fighting Kevin's state charges for over a year now. Considering the incident was a clear act of self-defense, it wasn't a strong charge. But the fact it's now being used as a basis for a penalty charge is extraordinary. It's crystal clear on video that Kevin was about to be affected after trying to walk away from the other person. Only then did Kevin use an item to defend himself and his sister, as the armed team member was about to pull out a firearm from his pocket. Unfortunately, Flock was found guilty on most of the evidence, but on day one, a court reporter thought it was going well for him. With them reporting, day one of K Flock's trial is over. Instant thoughts are, the prosecutors are not ready. They're stuttering many words, not answering the judge's questions, and not supplying evidence to defend K Flock's lawyer's defense. But K Flock joins this list of rappers that have been targeted by the feds. Cause did you know Lil Baby was just called out by the feds?
The investigation aspect of this, Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life. Gang violence was orchestrated by adults in our city. And cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days, we saw and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions. And you know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions.
Even Young and Ace was name dropped by the Jacksonville sheriff. Are we witnessing an official rap takedown by police?
So Young and Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them. I won't speak to the chief's investigation. That's up to TPD. We don't have an investigation on him right now, but he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it. And that's for the betterment of our community.
But reporters also noted Flock had been emotional during a lot of the trial, but his lawyers tried reassuring him they were going to beat the case. So much so that they had Flock share this message.
I know what's going on, man. Flock, I know something, man. Like, please to the guys, man. Hey, yo, like, I'll be back real soon. Shout out to my fans and my supporters, man. I love all y'all, man. For all the youth out there, violence, man. For me, and do what y'all supposed to do, man. For me, get through life correctly, bro. Like, get money.
But at the end of the day, the feds will always find a way to keep these rappers, as it relates to exactly how Boozy spoke on Melly's situation, saying the feds will do anything to keep you.
When they want you, they want you. I knew they wanted them bad when they waited for that law to get passed. So it'd be 8-4.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, they waited all the way till that law got passed to take him to trial.
Yeah, he was sitting in jail for what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, they could have been took you to trial.
You're right.
They waited till that law got passed and took him to trial a couple months later. When they want you, man. Just don't see how he didn't get a bond after a fucking mistrial.
However, official news outlets reveal K Flock's release date is likely in the 20-year range. However, a rapper soon to be placed in jail is Lil Baby for serious charges. His release date is dependent on his upcoming case. Did you know the head of Georgia's police department announced they are locking up Lil Baby and 4 PF members for RICO? It was announced. The head of the Georgia PD Council's gang unit says his office is preparing to defend against a potential 4 PF RICO, with the official paperwork name-dropping Lil Baby. But what's even scarier is that at court today, the police mentioned evidence. An investigator in the court wrote, "Investigator V is on the stand. We are listening to wiretapped calls. Someone mentioned that Baby had tickets on some people's heads. This means Lil Baby paid money to have people dealt with, similar to Durk's M for Hire. This is only the beginning as this was shared on the news."
Atlanta police are blaming a local rapper's music video for the deaths of 2 13-year-olds, and a $50,000 reward is being offered for more information. So far, 7 people have already been arrested.
Between the bullets, it was nothing but bullets, pop, 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 pop.
At least 25 shots fired.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was just a concert. I was waiting for Lil Baby to come buy my tacos up.
This got the attention of Snoop Dogg, who tweeted, "First Young Thug, and now Lil Baby being played by that Atlanta DA. Y'all Atlanta rappers be careful out there." As the news would reveal an important update saying, Lil Baby taken into county jail for questioning on the passing of Jacody Davis and Layman Freeman. Police question why he closed 4PF after the crime took place. When Lil Baby was asked why he closed 4PF during an interview, it seemed weird. As it was announced, Lil Baby reveals he ended his record label, 4PF, to avoid it being labeled as a street team.
First 4 Pockets Full had to come to an end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. When you say of course, I mean, why you say of course?
Because it's all shit that be going on. And I had to start learning that, like, other people's actions I could be held accountable for.
Right.
I ain't know all that at first. You know what I'm saying? I never would have went that route, but I ain't know. You know what I'm saying? Now that I know, I'll be a fool to just keep the same thing going. They trying to make something out of something that it ain't.
Right.
Like, if I got any kind of control of, hey, we're gonna switch that whole thing up. It ain't even just about the police, it's just period. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never was supposed to make my label something that I talk about.
But the official police report reads, the Atlanta Police Department is calling out Lil Baby, saying his actions led to the passing of 2 young individuals last summer. In a press conference on February 26th, the Atlanta PD announced 7 arrests were made in connection to the passing of Jacody Davis and Layman Freeman. Major Ralph stated the incidents were part of a gang war that started with a shooting at Lil Baby's music video shoot last May, which had 3 people injured. This team will work relentlessly to hold you accountable, referring to Lil Baby.
The investigation aspect of this, Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes before gang violence ultimately took his life. Gang violence was orchestrated by adults in our city, and cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been. And in the subsequent days, we saw and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions. And you know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible for those actions.
As Baby recorded a music video on an ops block outside of a taco shop, as the lady featured from the news clip saw Lil Baby was there and posted it on Facebook, letting everyone know he was at the taco shop.
Where y'all at? We over here kicking in. We got Lil Baby shooting a video around here. We don't know how we do it at Slapping Taco. Baby, there he go, there he go. Y'all see him? He came to get him some tacos, baby. Y'all better pull up, cause you already know how we doing this Slapping Tacos, baby.
According to police, the ops didn't know Lil Baby was around originally. It was her Facebook video that got the attention of them and made them pull up with firearms. But what's scary is the feds are blaming Baby for all of it. This resulted in a viral tweet that shares, the Atlanta DA wasn't successful getting Young Thug. Now she will target Lil Baby and use him as an example for the rest of the rappers, supplying gangs with fame, money, and items for street crimes. With Lil Baby being tracked by the feds, it answers the question of why Lil Baby closed 4PF. Because even after his Wham album released, it was reported Lil Baby's new album Wham was a rushed release due to legal battles coming his way. Him closing 4PF was the first sign to this, as District Attorney Fani Willis warned the public about Baby's involvement in the crime on the news.
An in-depth investigation. Recent months you've had 2 high-profile racketeering cases. There are going to be more.
Over the next 60 days, you'll see 2 more.
But it was DJ Academics who revealed the trap that Fani Willis was placing on rappers. With it confirmed 1 week later, Lil Baby was arrested Monday night for carrying a concealed firearm without a permit and was sent to the Clark County Detention Center, where he's being held on $5,000 bail.
I need 20 bands. Call the number for me. Hey, security, the black guy. Call the number for me. Locking me up for a but I got license. Security, I need 200 bands a year. I swear to God, security. Security, I need 200 bands a year. You don't make 200 bands here. Hey, lady, my check leave at 9:10. Nah, check me good. I gotta my nuts. Check me good. You on the camera? I gotta my nuts. Check me good. I gotta. All right, y'all let me that cost you. Cause I'm dead. Y'all fired.
However, it's a lot deeper than this, because 8 months ago, Academics revealed on stream that 4PF was on the same evidence file that Young Thug and YSL were on.
I've heard 2 of them. Like, I've heard the 2 of them. They're like, yo, these are going first, then these are going first. I've heard the names. And I don't know if I should say it. Again, I got nothing to do with no investigation for nothing, whatever. But these are top rappers. Well, one's a top rapper. The other one, matter of fact, I'll do the segment without saying the name. I'll just say this. I believe you know who the obvious name is. They're in Atlanta. They go by three letters. They've been popping. One of the top, I would say, 3 rappers in the game.
But now, in present day, with the YSL case over, academics revealed Lil Baby's recent arrest seemed like a warning for the upcoming RICO charge.
I'm gonna tell you some things that you're gonna have to take my word or don't believe it. It's fine. I don't care either or. When Fonnie Willis started targeting YSL, Fonnie Willis had a bunch of people to target. She wanted Thug. She got YFN. So she got YSL, YFN. Eventually, they were gonna get to 4PF. That's one of the reasons they changed their names, by the way. Except, from what I heard, the feds told them, it's okay, we got it. So the feds told him, like, it's okay if you dismiss the charge. So they didn't go that hard with trying to get Durk, especially after Von died. They dropped that case. They dropped it, but the feds has realized we gonna get Durk eventually. Doing the math? You see why Lil Baby is moving the way he been? Because Lil Baby hasn't been on Fed watch. He's been on county, state watch.
This further adds to why Baby's been quiet. He's been preparing music, businesses, and financials in case he's arrested. But it's important to note this all likely started from a former best friend who snitched back when Gunna snitched out the YSL case.
And you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in Börtlen.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped the vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrant and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because just 1 month after Gunna snitched, Lil Baby was arrested for illegal window tints.
Huh? Man, you know why I pull you open up these windows? They tinted. You can't see nothing out.
I'm a celebrity, man. Nobody can't see me. Give me my ticket. Let me ride.
I don't know what celebrity you are.
It don't matter. They give me my ticket. Let me ride. I can't have nobody seeing me right here. I'm gonna let my window up.
Oh yeah, you good, but you can't have that tinted window, man.
Alright, they give me the ticket. Have a good day, man.
Now, who are you? You say you
My name Lil Baby.
Okay, I just need you to sign right here, okay?
You got a pen?
827.
You don't be want to have these. You gotta have tints in that level. D4K. I take a ticket and somebody follow me home.
Put a 32.
Huh?
You can put a 32. If you got a medical exception, you can get the 10.
Despite Lil Baby only receiving a ticket in the video, the body cam footage ended up corrupting. Because in the following moments, the officer arrested Lil Baby over a window tint, which is extremely rare. Many commenters online say Lil Baby could have been arrested and treated poorly for the color of his skin, which has been a huge problem across America. Thankfully, Lil Baby flew his lawyer out on a private jet and got him bailed out that night. With both Lil Baby and Young Thug feeling like Gunna's snitching had something to do with it, they went after him online. Right as Thug was released, he tweeted, "Wham, let's drop one on these rats." The name Wham refers to rapper Lil Baby, which makes sense because he's been against Gunna the whole time. Baby responded to Young Thug on Instagram saying, "We should." And the day after, Young Thug followed it up tweeting, "Gunna, stop acting like we friends on the internet. I don't know you, my guy." This got Gunna's brother's attention, who said, "Trust and believe the feeling is mutual." And later that night, Thug linked up with T.I. and posted a story saying how he's home and did it the right way, throwing a little diss towards Gunna.
Hey man, what you got to tell these people? Back. Back, Jack. You feel me? You did. Hey man, ain't no cap in it. No cap in my right. You feel what I'm saying? The right way. It's time. The right way, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Right way. Yeah, that way. Yeah. And go tell that.
Thug wanted to let Gunna know he made it the right way out. However, there's problems with Young Thug creating beef with Gunna. Academics pointed out he believes Young Thug was given an easy plea deal because the feds predicted this would happen. With it announced, Academics speaks on Young Thug getting released and says the stipulations that he's got are a setup for the court to try to put Young Thug back in jail, explaining it's a setup for Thug to fail his plea deal and go to prison for 20 years, while possibly getting Lil Baby in the process.
I know some of his fans think he beat the case. He definitely didn't beat the case. Beat the case means you got no stipulations. The Young Thug thing is a win, but it's also a huge setup. If you gonna tell me that they're gonna monitor him on a probationary basis for 15 years, can't be in Atlanta, can't communicate with co-defendants or members, he can't rap about, he can't promote any music that has to do with what they believe is activity. Well, he's always gonna talk about him and he's doing his thing. They might consider that activity. He might be like, yo, me is like, yo, we going to the park getting lit. We going to the club getting lit. They might be like, oh no, you talking about a game. So, we celebrating right now because I think we could all see, if you follow that trial at all, whether you're a fan of Thug or not, you can see the pain, you can see this was going through it. Like, he gained a lot of weight. Everybody know Thug was not that weight. So we happy he got out, but we definitely got to be very cognizant of how it's going to play out.